Get started. All right. Welcome, everybody, to this session of the HubSpot Admins User Group. Super happy to have Jeff and Vishnu here with us today to talk about prospecting in HubSpot. I got a lot to cover here, so I will just hand it right over to them. Take it away, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Kyle. Vishnu, I think we should just do quick introductions and then we can jump in. Does that sound all right? And I don't think I've got a slide for it in my slides, so I'll just leave those for a second. But quick intro, and then I'll throw it over to Vish. My name is Jeff. I am a product manager at HubSpot. I've been with HubSpot for 3.5 years. I've worked on CRM stuff. This year I got to work on a lot of sales stuff. And what else? I live in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is pretty close to our main office in Cambridge. But I just really love working right here because I can make my own coffee and I have my own snacks. I think that's it. Vish, I'm going to send it over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. Hi, my name is Vishnu. I am a product manager within Sales Hub, more specifically within the mobile product group. You could think of me as a HubSpot dinosaur because I've been in the company 8 years in about 2 weeks' time. So I spent a bunch of time within the services organization, and then a big majority of my career has been within product, and it's generally been within the mobile space. So worked on a lot of sales stuff. So, early days of business card scanner, caller ID, HubSpot keyboard, tasks, all that kind of fun prospecting related. Spent 2 years within platform. So kind of like navigation, push notifications, that world. And then started this year, being back into sales stuff again. I've been thinking a lot about prospecting and sequences and what that looks like on mobile as well. As you can see from my accent, I am not US based, but I am based in Dublin, Ireland. I love it here. The weather is not always kind, but can't have everything. That's it for me.
Perfect. Okay, let's jump into it. We have a lot to share. I did make a couple of slides just to set context for me, but I'm going to try to breeze through them. Let me see if I can figure out this share screen thing. This one. Okay. Well, wait. I want to share this window. Thank you. Okay, this might break everything because I'm about to share our faces. Hang on. Okay, there we go. I can't see the chat.
Right. So we will monitor the chat. We'll interrupt you if anything comes up. And I will try to breathe noisily into the microphone just so you can know we're still here.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you. Okay, great. So like I said, I got a couple slides. I'm going to try to breeze through them. But yeah, if there are questions, Kyle, feel free to interrupt me. We're going to be talking about prospecting updates. You already know that. You signed up for this event. So a little bit of background. One, when I'm talking about prospecting, I'm talking about pre-deal work or building a pipeline. And the feedback we've gotten for as long as I've been in HubSpot, is that it's been a struggle to really set that up, to organize, and to track that in HubSpot. And specifically, we've never had a great native system, I guess I would say. So as we've gone up market and we've tried to attract more experienced sales leaders, they're always looking in HubSpot for, okay, cool, where do I set up my SDRs and BDRs, and how do I start tracking my leads? And our answer has always been a bit complex and convoluted. It's where a lot of you as admins have had to jump in. It's where a lot of our partners have had to jump in. And of course, it's a critical question because building pipeline, that pre-deal work, is the key to a strong sales motion. And especially nowadays, it's under a lot of scrutiny. So what did this lead to? A ton of customer and partner DIY, which you might be familiar with, people using Zapier, people using a ton of custom properties and things that had to connect just right for the reporting and the process to work, or adopting a new point solution like SalesLoft or Outreach that come to mind. And then you need to sync the data between those two, which created work for ops teams and new logins for reps to keep track of. And then you end up with this siloed data setup where some of the data is in your CRM, like HubSpot, and then some of it is in SalesLoft or Outreach. And so doing things like segmenting or reporting, just getting a full picture became really difficult, which is not the point. And this is a quote that kind of drives that home. This is a customer who has Marketing Hub, but then use Salesforce for sales activities. And where they're at is trying to connect Salesforce stack with outreach, and it's just not well integrated. That's sort of a common refrain. Same thing with Zoom Info. It's not integrated, and it makes prospecting frustrating and slow. Not the experience that anybody wants. I'm sure some people on this call have gotten this feedback from reps before. So we thought that there's got to be a better way using the data and engagement tools that are already centralized in HubSpot. We're great at building great experiences. So we could make something that was fast for reps, that created high quality and consistent data and processes for managers, that maintained low integration costs for ops teams, and then it resulted in more relevant, personalized experiences for prospects, which at the end means more conversions, more effective sales teams. That's the dream. So I hope that nobody on the marketing/inbound team is going to yell at me for this, but just to give you a sneak preview, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming at inbound. This is just a partial list. Of course, there's stuff from all the products at HubSpot, but I'm especially excited about the Sales Hub and prospecting launches. And today, between myself and Vishnu, we are going to cover just a few of those. And then, get excited for the rest of it at inbound and afterwards. So I'll be talking about the new prospecting workspace and our lead solution, and then I'll be doing a little teasing of the connected reporting, and then Vishnu's going to talk about sequences on mobile. And I'm giving myself 30 minutes to do my part. So obviously I could talk about this and set things up for a while, but I think the right move is to just get into the demo. I want to start showing you some product. But the three things that I wanted to cover before we do that, I'm glad I gave myself these bullets. One, everything you're about to see is in beta, but it's also like our first version, so it's heavily subject to change. And all the changes we've made so far have been driven by feedback from you, questions that you ask, questions that some of our internal teammates have asked. So please feel free to ask away. Kyle can interrupt me if I'm demoing and need to go a little deeper or if I skip something. And then the last thing I would say is this is in a public beta, but I'm not exactly sure how ungating is working, being that we're so close to inbound. So if there are portals that you'd like to get ungated and play around with this, I'm happy to do that. My ask is that you still get really excited about it, unreasonably excited about it when Andy talks about it on the big stage, and then Kyle does his deep dive on Sales Hub afterwards. Okay, Kyle, am I free to go demo?
Yes, go. Sorry. Someone was asking for a link to a couple of inbound sessions, and I was on a different tab. We are still here. We can hear you. One question we've gotten is whether these slides will be available afterward. Are you okay sharing those out?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think. Yes, that should be fine. All right. Let me jump into a demo. I've got a couple of pages of notes of what I want to cover, but they're in my handwriting. So if I miss anything, again, just start yelling. Okay, here is the contacts screen that you know and love. Under the sales dropdown, there is a new item called prospecting. And this is the prospecting workspace. I know it's been around for a little bit, so you may all have had time to play around with it or be familiar, but I thought I would just give you a quick walkthrough of the key pieces. So this is the summary page. This is where we think reps should start their day, and it's sort of command center for them to manage what's going on. So from here, I can track how I'm doing against my tasks and meetings. I think someday we'll see goals here as well. As you can see in my personal portal, I don't give myself a lot of tasks. I could do better at that, but you can imagine somebody seeing tracking their progress towards their emails and calls that they need to make for the day. We also have coverage of all my tasks, including overdue tasks here. I can see where different contacts are in my sequences. And then I can see this section on leads, which we're going to cover in a minute. But then I can also see just a quick snapshot of my schedule. And what I thought is I would just switch over and show you the full schedule tab. So the idea is that a rep could live in here And the tabs that we saw again and again were show me my tasks, show me my calendar, and then give me my tabs for research on the people that I'm supposed to be reaching out to. And we're trying to put a lot of that all together in one place. So here's my schedule. I will be able to schedule meetings from here, but I can also see what I have coming up. And then let's say I have some contacts that I'm meeting with. Apparently I don't today, but I can see all their information right here, which is great for helping me prep. Over in the feed, which is the activity feed that you're probably familiar with, I can see what's going on with my contacts. But in the future, I think we'll do even more here to try to alert reps of really critical activity that might mean, hey, a timely reach out would be right now. So that's a bit about the prospecting workspace. The last thing I wanted to show you was this this task queues feature that we've created. And I think maybe looking at my overdue tasks might be a good way to do that. So what we've heard from reps was when I'm doing my tasks, I set up time and I'd like to just focus on executing that task. I've got a fire truck going by. Sorry if it's super loud. So from here, I can see all the tasks that this is my overdue tasks. So a bunch of these are quite old, but I can see what I need to do. I need to send an email, and then I can see who I need to follow up with. So if I open my Charlie Young contact, I can see I need to make a call with Charlie. I can track all of Charlie's info here. So this is all contact information so that I know what I'm going to do when I go ahead and make that call, which I can do from right here. So clicking this would open up the calling tab. I could do the same thing for emails, leaving notes, etc. And then when I'm done, let's say I did place a call with Charlie, it would cross this off for me immediately, but I can also do it from here, right? It wants me to make that call. Cool. That is what I wanted to cover in the prospecting workspace. We have some other content on it, and there's a knowledge base article as well that Kyle can share. I'm going to assume there are no questions on that.
Yeah, I think you're good. We're getting questions around pricing, packaging, but Sales Pro, right, for all of this?
Yes, and I've got a slide specifically for that, Kyle, at the end. But yes, Prospecting Workspace is Sales Pro, and it's seated. So your reps need to have Sales Hub seats.
And then the tasks page still exists. This is not a replacement of the task page. That will continue to work as it always has. This is a new experience just meant to bring as many things together as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. I think that reps are going to want to work out of this tasks view. So I think we'll continue to invest in making this one better. And I'm not sure, exactly how we're going to handle the other one. But yes, that's still an object and index page that will continue to exist. Cool. Great questions. Now I want to jump into the leads tab, which not everyone may have seen or have had access to. So the summary page is focused on your tasks, and historically reps have been great at just focusing on their tasks, but their feedback has been, I also want to know who I'm working on, like who I'm trying to connect with, and maybe I can jump around to do better outreach if I just had a list of those people instead of just seeing them all in tasks. And so what they do is they have contact views or company views that they're looking at, and those get super complicated. They require a lot of refreshing, and there's just no rep. The experience on the CRM index page is not designed for the rep. And so that's what we looked to do here, was create something right inside of the prospecting workspace, so no additional tab necessary, that would hold all of the information about my relevant leads. So what I thought I would show here is first, just a quick overview of the table. As you can see, editing columns are available, but by default, what I'm going to see is the name on the lead, the label, which today is fully manual, the company that lead belongs to, the stage that they're currently at, which is a new pipeline, which we will also talk about, and then tracking the last activity I've had with them and the next activity. And what I would show here is when that's overdue, we're going to call that out. And when you need to schedule an activity. So our opinion is you should always have a next activity scheduled. When you need to do so, you'll get a CTA just like this one. So let me show you how interacting with this works. Let's say I'm just going to go through my hot leads. Great. First, I'm going to open up Mog. Mog is a dear friend of mine. What I'm seeing here is Mog's contact information. So I can track, again, the engagements that I've had with him. I can track recent communications, notes that I've left for myself, and all of my contact information. If you have, I don't have it in my prod portal, but if you have the LinkedIn integration set up, you'll also see LinkedIn information here. I should have set that up in this portal, but I didn't. I can see company information and other deals that Mog is associated with, along with, you know, other stuff. But you might have noticed this section here. Problem we've had historically is tracking lead journeys, especially when someone's had multiple. And so what we decided to do, and the way that this whole table works, is it's powered by a lead object and records on that object. And the purpose of those records is not to replace contacts or companies, but to help us track that Mog was a previous lead between two times, and that they had a journey that followed a pipeline through to, in this case, disqualified. And you'll see that I also included a reason. And then he had another lead journey where he was qualified on a particular date and a deal was created, which is linked right here. So now as a rep opening this up, I can see that Mog was previously a lead. I can see that he actually had a deal created. This one has not been closed, but you can imagine I could see it was closed. They bought this. Now I can execute better reach out. For some reason, they are back as a lead again. I can look into who did they work with last time? What did they respond well to? How primarily did we reach out to them? Things like email and phone. These are all things that we can start to learn by tracking a specific lead journey, and then make recommendations to the rep on how to move forward. So that's this new section. This is the lead data. From here, I can do things like move Mog within this pipeline. So you can see the stages: new, attempting, connected, qualified, disqualified. Fairly straightforward. And one other piece that I would want to show off here is, let's say that as a rep, I want to send Mog an email. When I go to send this, first of all, I can set myself a follow-up task. But anyway, when I send this, it's going to automatically move Mog into the attempting lead stage. And this is really important because if you think about the sales manager, I mean, you all might be looking at these kinds of reports. Traditionally, it's been tough to trust where are my leads actually at. And it's because it required the rep to make that move manually, or it required workflows running in the background to move things around. We're trying to sort of shortcut that, or at least set you up for success by moving leads automatically through the pipeline. So if I send an email or I make a call, it's going to move them to attempting. If that call succeeds, or if I get an email back, or we execute a meeting or log a meeting, it's going to move us to connected. I'm just doing a whirlwind tour.
Yep, we're going to pause you right there.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
You are getting all the questions I told you you would get. So first of all, people mentioning having Salesforce nightmares and flashbacks. Contacts are still contacts. Companies are still companies. These are still your core objects inside of HubSpot. From a database architecture backend underneath the code perspective, yes, a lead is an object in the same way like a task is an object. But this is not, there is no like converting a lead into a contact. You start with a contact and a company associated to each other. You can associate a lead with them. For those of you who have mentioned, what happened to lifecycle status? Why is it linear? I wanted it to be circular. That's the problem we're trying to solve. Previously, lead status, you would have a contact. Their lead status would be new, and then it would be like attempting, and then it would be disqualified. And then if you came back later and you were talking to them about a different product, or their interest in the original product had rekindled, then you would set them back to new or attempting, and the previous, you would not have a record of that anymore. What you're getting now is more than one lead can be associated with a contact or company. And so you can see like, oh, for this product line, they are disqualified. They just, it's not a good fit for them. But for this other product line, we're still moving forward. Or like we attempted them 3 years ago and it didn't go very far. Now we're trying again. And here's where we are in these lead stages. So we're just giving you more flexibility here. Someone asked why is lead creation and stuff based on lifecycle stage instead of lead status? Jeff, here's where I'm just going off into my own opinions, but I see this as replacing lead status. I think lifecycle stage will continue to capture the overall where this person is in relationship to your company. But instead of having this drop-down property that can only hold one value at a time that has to be manually updated, you now can associate leads, create leads on the contact record. And if you look at a contact record, you'll see just like there's a companies and a deals box, you're going to have a leads box, and you'll see this little like Domino's pizza tracker thing you're seeing here that shows what status they're in, and you can manage your outreach there. I can't read the chat while I'm talking, and I just talked a fair bit, but is everyone feeling a little better? Do we understand? One thing that did come up, Jeff, people want to know if they can customize these stages in the lead pipeline thing. But I just want to emphasize, lots of people are like, whoa, he's saying pipeline. Whoa, what about deals? Whoa, what about, and like, don't overthink it. You're still going to focus on contact companies deals. Those are still your core objects here. The lead is just something that is more robust than the lead status property as a dropdown that can hold a single value has ever been able to give you before. And then it's all tied into this nice workspace.
Yep, I should have known as soon as I said lead object that I should have taken a pause and focused on either the questions or the data model.
Pause for thunder and lightning.
I totally hear people on this. What I would say, I'm not going to try to switch to the slides. I don't think we need to, but the flow here is fundamentally different than Salesforce, because I think it reflects both how HubSpot works and that we have marketing and sales in the same tool, in the same area, and our learnings from all the feedback that is publicly available about the Salesforce lead object. So just to reiterate what Kyle said, it's not everything becomes a lead and then it sort of graduates to contact company opportunity. It's we still have contacts in companies, but what we can decide to do is, and a lot of this is can be defined by you, depending on your sales process. I will show you how it works by default and then what customization options are available. But at any point, a contact or a company can then have a lead journey associated to it. Maybe I did all this out of order, which when we're done, you can give me feedback on. I'm sure Kyle would certainly appreciate it for his talk next week. But let's keep going, and then I'm sure there's going to be more questions like that, and we can get to it.
Yep, sounds good.
I think the two things that I wanted to cover on this screen, and then we're going to get into configuration. One is I did want to just emphasize that you can have you need to have a contact or a company in order for a lead to exist. But for some people, a contact only lead is the way that things work. Contacts fill out maybe like a form, and then that becomes a lead, sort of like something that looks more like an inbound flow. But we wanted to also be able to represent outbound based leads and lead working in this in this workspace. And one of the ways we can do that is by creating company-based leads. So you can imagine sales ops or sales managers or even reps themselves are identifying good fit companies. So for example, I have Inktober, who are awesome. And you can create a lead solely for a lead journey solely for that company. And what we're going to recommend the rep do first is go and add a contact. And the options that are available there are the contacts that are associated with the company. So they're going to do some sort of research on Inktober and identify that Kristen is the right person to talk to, and then they will associate Kristen with that lead. That was one thing that I wanted to show. And then the other thing I wanted to show is that the prospecting queues that we showed for tasks also work with leads. So something we've heard from a lot of reps is Monday morning, I want to go through and look at all of my new leads and figure out which ones do I want to engage with personally, which ones do I want to put into a sequence, which ones do I just want to disqualify based on the company that they work for, maybe the size is wrong, geography is wrong, something like that. So we have another queue. You can imagine this being hopefully full of good fit leads, but as a rep, I can go through. This calling thing really wants me to call, and I can put them into a sequence. I can send them an email. I can make a call, all from here. So we took all the actions that a rep needs to take, and we brought them to front and center, which I think makes everybody's workflow a little bit simpler and more efficient. Next, I wanted to cover setup and configuration for this. So let me take you into our settings. And I'm cognizant that I have about 8 minutes because we have lots to cover also in mobile. There's a new section under objects called leads. And what I'm showing you in here is just the default settings. So the default settings we have available. Oh, you know what? I didn't show qualification or disqualification. I will go back and do that now that I'm seeing this setting. First is, how do you want to create those lead records that are attached to a contact? And by default, what you can do for like an inbound flow, again, is to say, at a particular contact lifecycle stage, I would like a lead record to be generated. So this is like a handoff between marketing and sales. And for the first time, we're going to put it in software and say, when they reach sales qualified lead or marketing qualified lead, go ahead and create a contact record for them. It will appear in the rep's workspace who is marked as the owner, and now they know safe to start work. You can also turn this off and say, I'm going to create leads in another way, which we can cover those other ways in 1 second. The other question is, what can we do, or how do we update contacts or companies when a lead is associated with them? So you can imagine that situation like the Inktober, like the company-based lead. If I create a, I think it was Kristen, contact record, and then I associate Kristen with that lead record, I want to make sure that the lifecycle stage for them is updated as well. And I can do that with the setting here. And then finally is requiring disqualification reasons, which let me go back and show you how that works, because I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't do that. So MOG again. Okay, I work with MOG, and it turns out not fit. I can go to disqualified, and it's going to immediately pop up and ask me to enter a disqualification reason. You can make this required. You cannot make this required. You can also customize what are the options that show in here. But by making it required, it means for every disqualified lead, I'm going to get feedback about what happened there. And that's, again, great for those marketing and sales conversations, great for sales to improve their process. I can also create a task. So let's say not a good fit for now. I want to set myself a task in 1 month and reopen them in a new lead journey. I can do that from here. And I can also leave notes so that if someone gets that lead journey, gets like a future lead journey for MOG assigned to them, they'll see they were previously disqualified, and I could put something in here like really struggle with phone, great with email. And again, I'm just setting that future rep up for success. Conversely, I could say that they're qualified. And the way the automation works today, and again, this is going to be customizable, it's going to pop up the deal creation form immediately. So the step between qualified lead to a deal that's ready for a closing rep to work is closed. This is what my deal form looks like, but you all know this and know that you can customize this. So back in my settings, closing the loop on that, you'll see that I can require a disqualification reason, and I can also customize my reasons. One of the things we talked about earlier was what that pipeline looks like. We're working on the screen right now, but as you can see, these are the stages that we provide out of the box. There is automation that links the stages together. You'll be able to customize that, turn that automation on and off, and you'll also be able to customize the stages. What else do I want to show? Oh,
I just want to mention, Waylon says, I'm nearly weeping right now. We're about to overhaul our sales motion, and this is going to make my SDR team so happy. Our janky pre-sale pipeline is going to get the axe finally. And I think that is fairly representative of a lot of the comments. I so need this in my life right now from Caitlin. People are liking it. One question, people have noticed you have like hot leads and cold leads, and how are those labels set?
Yes, great question. Today that is done manually by the rep. So we offer hot, warm, and cold. I think what we'll do is make this one customizable so that you can make these whatever you like. And then two, you may all be familiar with the deal, what do we call it? Tagging rules.
Deal tags,
that
yeah.
have recently been released. I think we'll bring that to leads as well, so that as the manager, admin, you can say, if it comes from this source, let's make it hot. Let's get it up to the top of the list. Let's make sure the rep is working it immediately. That sort of thing. That's a great question. And also, I appreciate you jumping in, Kyle, because I wasn't sure what the general tenor of reaction was. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's hard and lonely presenting here because you can't see the chat. You don't know. Everybody's going bonkers. They love it.
I'm just talking to myself and looking at the clock to make sure that I don't run over Vishnu's time too much. I'm going to try to cover the next couple of things fairly quickly, but it might answer some of the questions that are in the chat. One, leads are going to be fully supported in workflows. I won't pull up the workflows tool because you probably all know it, but you'll be able to update leads, update lead properties and such, and create lead records from like a contact or company-based workflow. So you'll have full ability to turn off the default creation settings that we give you and say, I want a much more complex system. You may already have a workflow that does things like assigning a contact to a rep. At the end of that, you may want to say, oh, also create a lead record, and it will automatically get associated to the contact or company that you're operating on. And then the way that lead owner works is it's synced with contact owner. That's how it's going to work for now. And so that means it'll immediately show up in your rep's workspace. Second, custom properties are also supported, which is going to be great when we get to, which is great again, to be updated through workflows, but then also great for reporting and customizing this table, which I'm going to show you reporting very quickly in a second, because apparently I've used up all my time. And then the third thing, and Kyle mentioned this earlier, but I want to show you how creation is going to, the other modes of creation for leads. So if I go to my contacts, actually companies might be a better example for this. If I'm a sales ops or sales manager and I've put together this set of great fit companies and I've assigned owners to all of them, let's imagine that I had done that, I can check this box here and we have a new bulk create leads option. And it's going to pop up this create form, which you will be able to customize. Today, it's just what pipeline stage should it go into, which is also fine to use, but we'll be able to add more stuff here in the future. And then that will go ahead and create a lead journey associated with each company. And you can imagine doing that for contacts. We can also open an individual company page. We can see the leads. I've got a bunch, but I can add a new one right from here. And I can also assign it a lead label at that moment. So that's two ways that, like as a sales ops or a manager, you'll be able to create new leads. And the last thing that I wanted to call out for reps is they can also add leads in case for some reason they don't feel like all the leads have been pulled in for them, which we didn't do the whole like initial setup, but let me show you what that looks like. We're going to give reps the ability to say, let me pull in contacts with specific life cycle stages. This is just kind of like getting them all set up. You'll see 0 for me because I already have them all in my workspace, but we're going to give reps an initial setup. And then they can also pull in leads manually if they feel like there's a so this is populated with all the contacts that I own if they feel like they need a new lead for one of those contacts. That is everything that I wanted to cover. What I think is coming in the workspace is more customization. That's been a frequent question, especially of the summary tab. more information, so getting more of that company information in, so that when you're evaluating a lead, you can see contact and company together, and more suggested activities to help reps figure out, based on my context, what should I do next. Before I hand it over to Vishnu, I wanted to very quickly show some of the reporting stuff that we have coming that supports this. That is owned by Priya, who is an awesome PM, and in a future reporting session, they may cover this in a little bit more detail. But one, there's a prospecting activities report, which is now out to all, that covers how sequences, meetings, calls, and tasks are going across your team. And just, I think yesterday, we put into beta a lead funnel report, which is driven by that leads data. And so you'll be able to see in a snapshot how many leads you have open, your conversion rate to qualified, the associated deals, and hopefully start to see some closed won deal amount. But leads data is also available in single object builder and the custom report builder at launch. So for the first time, you'll be able to get a report like, how many leads did we have 6 months ago, and be very confident that that data is actually accurate. That is all that I wanted to share. I'm going to take it back to the slide.
Well, you should stop sharing your screen for a minute and bask in these comments. I think the most recurring question we're getting in the chat, I haven't even looked at the Q&A yet, but the most recurring question is, when can I have it, Jeff? I want it now. What's the rollout plan for this one?
So like I mentioned at the top, and then covered a ton of detail, this is currently in a beta. We can ungate portals. I know we're doing ungating a little weird because it's just about inbound. So we can try to gather some portals after this, or go through a CSM if you have one. They're hitting me up for ungates. I'm happy to do that. And then we're going to go GA in Q4, but we actually have a slide on that to come after Vishnu content. So I'm done. I'm going to put myself on mute, Kyle, because I think he's got plenty to cover.
Yeah.
And I will read through some of these comments and questions and try to address them. But please, Vishnu, take it away. I'm sorry.
Sorry, just to insert myself here, right here.
Okay.
Jeff just said GA in Q4. For those of you who don't hang out with the product team on a daily basis to understand this mumbo jumbo that they're saying all the time, GA means general availability. That means it's out of beta. It means it's a product everybody has. Q4 is our fourth quarter, which is the last 3 months of the calendar year, October, November, December. So that's what that meant.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Vishnu, take it away.
I'm glad that Kyle gave me the little prompt to not use any, keep this as decipherable as possible. All right, I'm going to quickly share my screen and that should be, let's do entire screen. All right, so I am here to talk about prospecting on mobile, and more specifically sequences on mobile. So this, as of today, is in public beta, and it's one of those features that, you know, we took our time to kind of get it right, to build it, but the good news is it's here. We think about sequences on mobile as sort of kind of like automation on the go. A couple of things we used to hear from our sales reps who predominantly spend a bunch of time on the road. You know, they spend 2 to 3 days out on the road, living in a hotel, going to conferences, that sort of stuff. And one of the big feedback we heard is like, I don't want to open my laptop to do a very, very basic thing. Sequences on mobile is very, very powerful. Once you create your sequences, you enroll your contact, or you bulk enroll a bunch of contacts, and then you can just kind of forget about it and wait for the meetings to kind of fill up your calendar. And that's a simplicity we leaned into on mobile. So if you have a rep who is, and you know, I'm going to be doing this, I'll be at Inbound next week. You meet, you network, you get a business card, you get some contacts, but you have those sequences set up where it's, you know, you're sending them either your meeting link, or you're sending them kind of initial proposals or documents. But that used to be siloed just to your laptop, just to the desktop experiences. As of today, which is public beta, we bring sequences onto mobile, and I'll give a quick demo of what this looks like. So this is my mobile app. Kyle, I can't see the people, but just can you come off mute and just let me know if you can see my screen?
I can see your phone. I see. I assume your phone. It's 9:41.
Yeah.
HubSpot.
That's it. Okay, so when you launch your mobile app, the way to access sequences, similar to what it is on the web product, is to navigate to a contact record. A couple of ways you can do this. And from the home screen, you might have an associated task, so you can navigate to the contact that way. You can search for a contact. So I have Vishnu here, a couple of Vishnus, or I can just go into the contact list and then navigate to the record there. When you're on the record, you see a couple of things at the top. You can call, email, text. If you have meetings enabled, which is currently in public beta right now, which allows you to book a meeting with the contact, you'll see this overflow menu, but tapping onto that, you'll see the option to enroll. From here, the experience is very, very similar to what it is on the web product. Tapping into that, you get the option to select any of the sequences that you have set up. You can search, you can sort, but let's go with the best shoes in the galaxy. Vishnu reached out to me. I met him at a trade show and I want to enroll him into a sequence. So I select the best shoes in the galaxy, gives you a preview of what your sequence looks like. And as of right now, you can't edit any of those emails, but this is something that we'll be looking into. But it does support any of the missing information. Like, so you don't, as you saw on the previous screen, Vishnu does not have a first name. Placeholders within the sequence that I need to enter as well, as in like what are the shoes that he's interested in. So tapping into missing information, I can put in Vishnu's first name and then the placeholder token, which was what were the shoes. I think Vishnu was interested in Nikes. I hit update and the sequence is ready to go. If I have multiple emails connected, I can select here and then choose which email I want to set to, and that will also set whatever signature that the email is associated to. And then all I do is tap enroll, and that contact is enrolled into a sequence. So what happens if your contact is already enrolled in a sequence? One use case we hear a ton, especially on reps on the road, is I put somebody in a sequence, they called me and they told me, hey, you know, all that proposal that you sent was great. Let's book a meeting. So now the rep doesn't want the next step in the sequence gone, right? They're on the road, so they either need to pull up their laptop. But now for mobile, you can do direct unenroll as well. So if I go back into enroll, I will see that this contact is already enrolled in a sequence. And from here, I can unenroll or I can pause them. If I unenroll, they're unenrolled from a sequence. And then if I wanted to, I can enroll them back into the sequence if that was needed. So that's sequences in mobile. It is currently in public beta as of today. If you so it's out to roughly, I think, about 10% of our portals. But if you want to skip the line, or if you want your portal to be ungated right now, just let me know, and I can kind of push you above the queue. So yeah, that's sequences in mobile. How are we doing for time? Okay. So the one last thing I want to show, and I'll go back to the slides, is prospecting. So like Jeff did an amazing demo of the prospecting workspace. He talked about the leads object. He talked about how to kind of adopt that business process to your business. And we're thinking about prospecting on mobile really, really strongly as well. The way we're thinking about prospecting on mobile is kind of three components, right? One is to provide focus for our salespeople. So a place where they can go and they can prospect, they can source, a place where you can be told, these are the most important people I need to reach out to right now. Second is preparation. Okay, these are the most important people I need to reach out, but tell me something about them so I can be prepared for that call or that engagement or whatever I'm going to do. And the third piece is personalization. Like, it's all great that you have the focus, you have the preparation, but your outreach needs to be personalized. It needs to, it needs to touch on what it is that outreach is about. You know, it needs to bring in some personalization from the sales rep, either through sequences or email or calls or whatever that is. So prospecting in mobile is something we're thinking very, very deeply on, and it'll be something that we'll be working on very, very soon. So I just wanted to kind of share that thinking out there, that prospecting on mobile and prospecting workspace will be a reality very soon. And so if you have any feedback, if you have people who'd love to talk, I'd love to talk to them about like how they would use prospecting mobile. So hit me up. But I will stop there because I know there's a lot of questions, and I'll pause there.
There are indeed a lot of questions. There are also a lot of portal IDs floating around in this chat. Yeah. So I'll let you product folks sort through those while I sort through the questions. Let's see. So Tobias, I don't know, 44 minutes ago. Maybe this question got answered. Can you explain how to think differently about lead status and lead stage? Jeff, you want to take a swing at that? I feel like we
Sure.
sort of hit it.
Yeah, sure. It's hard to provide advice not knowing the current setup, because the last thing I want to say is rip out everything you have and institute a new process. But if somebody was joining HubSpot net new today, and again, everything is in beta, so we're still working on making it, V1 great. But I would want to say adopt this leads journey, adopt that pipeline, and use that rather than lead status. What lead status is out of the box is just an enum property with options. It doesn't do anything. There's not plugged in anywhere. It's just available for you to use. For people who have made heavy investments in lead status, which I know is a lot of folks because we've recommended it, partners have recommended it, because we've opened this up to workflows and all the customization powers that provides, you can keep your same process. I don't think there's any reason to chuck that out and try to implement something new. What you want to make sure that you're doing is connecting leads to contact and vice versa. And you can do all that through workflows. So like I mentioned, we offer updating and creating leads through contact and company workflows. And we also offer lead-based workflows. So you can say when a lead moves pipeline stage, update the associated contacts lead status property. If everything you have is based off that, you can continue using it.
Cool. So Grace asks the question, how do I get Ungated? How do I get these things in my portal? I'm just gonna, here we go. Here is my email address, everybody. Just send me your portal IDs. We've got them in the chat. We've got them floating in DMs. We've got them everywhere. I don't know. I want to make sure nobody gets missed. I want to pull them all together. So I'm happy to be the point person. If you want anything Jeff showed you, if you want anything Vishnu showed you, send me your portal ID and tell me which thing it is you want, or both, or all the things, or whatever. And we'll make that work. I see Deanna has a different solution.
Yes, if you want to do it faster, provide some feedback and put it in the feedback survey, because that goes to everybody here.
That's true. Yeah. So that might be even better. Just be clear about portal ID and what it is you want to be ungated for. And hopefully we can get it to everyone, because Jeff made some big promises. No, it's fine. I love that. I hope people come here expecting to get early access to stuff, and I'll do my best to get it to you. But we need an organized way to get it there.
Let me say one other thing, because I think there are a bunch of questions now that I'm reading all the comments about lifecycle stages. We believe that you should plug into lifecycle stages, but it's not required. The default setting is based off of lifecycle stage, but you can customize it however works for your sales process. So I see some people in the comments who love lifecycle stages, and theirs are in great shape. Awesome. Plug in this leads journey process there. There's some other people who are saying we gave up on them long ago. Adopting this doesn't require you to go all in on lifecycle stage. That's, again, how we're recommending to brand new portals that are following every bit of the HubSpot methodology. But Kyle and all the other awesome Academy folks are going to have lots of content, all the different ways that you can configure this and set it up going forward. Right on time, we might have lost Kyle.
I think we did. He's still smiling and not talking. All right, I'm gonna go grab a question over here since he is paused. And I think it might be Bevy. Okay, Bevy's freaking out. Is HubSpot going to suggest a methodology for converting an existing robust sales enterprise company over to this? I have a huge client that could use this, but a huge lift.
Yep. The thing that I'm doing right after this call is meeting with our awesome CSM team. We have onboarding specialists. We have sales engineers, lots of cool folks who are getting embedded into this process. So we'll have thoughts. Again, it really depends on specific details and how your system is set up, but I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to find ways to make it work with any system.
Gotcha. Let's see, we got a sequence question. If someone gets unenrolled, can you re-enroll them and have them pick up where they left off? So like pre-select a specific step to start at.
Not right now, but that's what the team is going to be working on. So right now you have to start at the first step. Just on mobile. On desktop, you can pick the exact point. The whole idea of doing it on mobile is you're not re-enrolling them on a specific step. It's for a new contact, but it is something that we're keeping an eye on and we'll be looking into.
Awesome. Let's see, while you're talking, let's see. If you auto-enroll from a workflow with a personalization token in rich text, it removes line breaks. This is actually a huge issue. Any advice for us? If you manually enroll the sequence, it renders properly. I don't know if that's totally mobile or if that's sequences in general kind of question.
Yeah, it could be sequences in general. I can follow up with the specific person and kind of get back to you. Yeah, I can grab the person from the hug as well.
Let's see. Will there be association labels for leads? So in a workflow, you can specific which associated lead to update. Why are you laughing so hard, Jeff?
I worked on the association labels feature, and I'm just it makes my heart feel good to hear somebody using that and thinking of that sort of first. Yes, 100%. One of the things that we would love to do is get things like, buyer role set up in the lead journey process, so that somebody who is establishing all that can have it set up, have it roll over to the deal, and the closing rep knows exactly who they're reaching out to and sort of the context they're walking into. I love that question. Not available out of the box just yet, but it's on the list. We'll get there.
Something to keep an eye on. Let's see. Trying to get back to the ones that had a lot of upvotes. Is there a way to approach lead prospecting when multiple business units are targeting the same lead? We had a lot of business unit questions.
We did have a lot of business unit questions. We're working on support for business units. I expect that to take us a little bit. The way we set this up is that duplicate leads are possible, but right now that we have set up that the owner of the lead syncs with the owner of the contact. So as long as there's only one contact record, every lead will be assigned to the same rep. That makes it a little easier to manage any, duplicate chaos, but it does mean that at some point we'll be able to unlock separate reps for separate business units, or having them show up in a business unit focused workspace. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
Perfect. Let's see. Will this work in conjunction with data syncs into other system objects, i.e. Salesforce, independent lead area? I knew that was coming.
We're talking with the Salesforce integration team to figure out how this is going to work. I don't want to create too much confusion, so I'm going to depend on their expertise to do it right. But yes, as a fully fledged object, we will be able to get to the point that integration is straightforward there.
Gotcha. Let's see. Trying to filter through them. We've only got a minute left. I want to get one more question in. How does it work with the integrator? We just talked about that. How is the lead being named? Only the contact name?
Okay. In terms of what's displayed to the rep, yes. But we have a lead name feature on the back end that's a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, robust, complete, easier to report on.
Gotcha. There are a ton of questions, guys. I am not skipping them on purpose. I'm going to compile them and shoot them over to the HubSpot team, to these guys, so they can filter through them. Hopefully they'll share some of that information with us on the community, on the LinkedIn group, through Kyle, maybe even come back and do another session. I knew this was going to be a full one. When he said he had both of you, I was like, yeah, that's not, okay. We'll try, but we tried. So definitely get your feedback in. Let Jeff and let Vishnu know that you had a great time and you really enjoyed it. And I hope that you all make it to inbound and I get to see you guys. Kyle's got power issues going on right now. So he says that he's sorry he had to hop off, but he will see everybody at inbound. And if you can't make it, we'll We'll see you online. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Vishnu. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thanks all.